now available in paperback and e-readers, The Temptation of John Haynes. Give in to temptation and pick up this action-packed African-American paranormal romance. Get The Temptation of John Haynes in paperback and e-readers today. There's a small contingent of black women who go out here and deliberately look to start arguments with the men in their lives. Now, this contingent of black women, what they will do is go out here and look to start an argument with their husband, their boyfriend, and even possibly their sons and their brothers. And they'll deliberately look to start this argument to try to see where they can get this guy to get emotional. And as they get that black man emotional, what they do is go out here and call the police or threaten to call the police on that man. And they do this because basically what they want to see is how far they can go before they can get that man to submit. Now, these black women in and of themselves basically are a group of feminist indoctrinated women, like I talk about in my book, The Woman Crisis. And what these feminist indoctrinated women want to do when they start these arguments is basically look to pull a crap test where they can see whatever boundaries they can break as related to that man, because they have in and of themselves been taught that they do not need to respect the leadership and authority of a man. And what they want to do is undermine that man's ability to be able to be a leader, because what they want to do is be the ones who can say that they can have all the power in the relationship. And part of them looking to get power in the relationship is them looking to subvert God's natural order, where the man is supposed to be the head of the family or the leader out here. And what they want to do is show how little respect they have for male authority and male authority figures. And the way they do that is by looking to gauge where they can push the buttons of that man, look to gauge whatever buttons they can push. And as they look to gauge the buttons they can push, what they do is look to get that man to a point where they can find what way they can get him emotional and what way they can get him emotional to react to them. And the whole goal of getting that man to react to them is a way to get the power and control in the relationship. That's what these women want to do, whether it be to their sons, their boyfriends, their husbands, or even their brothers. What these women want to do is be the ones who can go out here and gain power over those men by looking to see what they can go out here and leverage as related to starting this argument. And if they can push the right set of buttons, they can push this man to get emotional. And since this guy is caught up in his feelings, he cannot see how this woman is looking to try to manipulate him in an effort to try to go out here and see what she can get away with, and play a dangerous game that basically has this man in a place where he's desperate for his freedom. Because what these women do when they look to start these arguments is look to go out here and, as related to their crap test, see what buttons they can push to get this man emotional, and get this man emotional to the point where he starts reacting by getting physical with that woman. And as he looks to get physical with that woman, what happens to that man is that woman then has the whole thing where she thinks that she can either do two things. One, she will threaten to call 911, and if she pushes buttons too far, she will call 911 and look to use the police as a weapon in some cases to go out here and get that man arrested. Basically to emasculate that man and take away his freedom so that they can get a sense of power over that man, and basically take away that man's ability to have power, because what she's doing by doing this is saying that she's going to be the one who can leverage control over this man as related to the argument she started, and use that argument again as a way to basically take away that man's freedom and show him who is the one with the real power in the relationship. Now, many men have gotten into arguments with women who start stuff like this, and what these men really don't understand is that this, again, is a crap test, It's a crap test to see what boundaries this woman can break as related to this relationship. And when a woman goes out here and pulls that kind of trap test, men, you need to understand that this woman does not respect you. And since she doesn't respect you, what you need to do is set a boundary for yourself by walking away. And by walking away, you are not a coward. No, you're not a coward at all. Because one thing a man has to do, especially a heterosexual black man, is preserve his freedom at all costs. And if you see a woman starting an argument, what you do is walk away from that woman. And if you have to, leave the house, leave the neighborhood, and move on. And when you see a woman starting an argument like this, understand that the only option you have is really after you leave the house to leave the relationship. Because if this woman cannot respect you to go out here and start this argument, then there is no reason to continue a relationship with her. Because if she'll start an argument to put your freedom in jeopardy, that shows she has no respect for you as a man, and no respect for you because she does not respect you to be a head over her. And this woman doesn't really want to submit to your authority. And since she doesn't want to submit to your authority as a man and wants to try to undermine your authority that God has given you as a head, then you need to see that this is not a woman you need to be looking to pursue any sort of relationship with. Because if she cannot, again, respect your right to life and will be willing to put your life in jeopardy by looking to start this argument that could possibly escalate into a situation which could possibly lead to a confrontation with the police, then you need to go out here and charge this woman to the game. Because this woman, if she's in, I don't care whatever relationship you have with her, cannot respect your right to live as a man, then it's time to just, again, end whatever relationship you have with this woman and basically move on. Because if you cannot get a basic respect as related to having the right to live in your home and have a peaceful home, then it's time to let this woman go. Because if she will have the audacity to start an argument with you for absolutely no reason and looking to push your buttons, then the only way to push back is to walk away and leave her to have a nice life on her own. And this is one of the reasons why, as a man, you need to have your own place and your own money. Because a lot of women like to pull this type of crap test when they know that the man has no money and no way to make a living for himself. What they like to do, because they believe they have leverage, is believe they have a right to abuse that black man, believe they have a right to abuse and degrade that black man, and believe that starting arguments is a way to, again, flex and maintain their power to abuse this man in a codependent relationship, where they believe they have the right to go out here and, again, start this argument. And because this man has no power in and of himself as related to his life, they believe that this man, they want to see this man cower and submit out of fear of this woman starting this argument, where she looks to escalate things, to call the police, basically to make it where she can take away this man's freedom at any time. That's the type of thing that some of these black women love to participate in, and looking to think that they have a right to take away a man's freedom, all because they believe they have the advantage. But as a man, you have a right to your right to live. And since you have a right to live, you need to understand that if this woman starts an argument with you, the only way to end it is to leave. And the only way to end it is to, again, leave the entire relationship. Because there's no way you can move forward with a woman who has absolutely no respect for you. And she has no respect for you as a man, to go out here and deliberately start an argument. Because people who love you don't go out here starting arguments with you for no reason. No, that's the actions of an extremely insecure woman. It's the actions of an insecure woman who will go out here and start this argument because she fears you having any sort of power or agency of your own, and because she fears you having any sort of power or agency of your own, she wants to take away your power. And the only way to keep her from taking your power is to take your respect. And the way you take your respect is by walking away from this woman who looks to instigate fights to the point where they escalate to the point where she can threaten to call 911 or have police officers come to your home and arrest you for a possible domestic violence charge if they can push your buttons and get you emotional, or just call you basically and make an allegation. And again, if a woman will go out here and put law enforcement on you for crimes you did not commit, or threaten to call the police because you disagreed with her, again, that's not a woman who loves a man. That's a woman who has no respect for a man. And if she has no respect for you and will put your life in the line of fire, because these incidents can lead to a man who does not have any sort of understanding of how to control his emotions, it can lead to a man becoming so anxious that he starts to panic. And as he starts to panic, this is where a lot of guys get there in a place where they can possibly either wind up getting arrested or they wind up getting shot up by the police. And in either case, what happens with these women is these women will start to either run and take the rent money to go pay the bail because they basically feel like they've got the leverage, but they basically put the whole household in chaos. Or what they will do is basically move on to the next person after your funeral, all because they are the ones who want the power. But the way you take your power is not by getting into it with that woman. No, you take your power as a man by walking away from that woman and ending that relationship. That's how you deal with these women who go out here and start arguments. You finish the argument by walking away from that woman and having your own spot if you can. If you've got your own money and you can get your money together, get your own spot, get your own money and get yourself together, and then make sure that you have your own place and you basically leave and go to that place. And if she's starting arguments and starting fights, this is where you end the relationship and leave her to be one of the 70% of black women who are single. You leave her to be one of the 70% of black women who are single, because if this woman can't show you your respect to allow you to be able to enjoy your life, then you don't need to be miserable in her company as she's starting fights. No, let her go out here and stay alone, because if she's out here starting fights for no reason, then the only thing to do is end a relationship with this woman. Because things are not going to get better with this kind of woman who goes out here and starts arguments and starts drama and then looks to bring in outside parties like the police. No, it's not going to get better with this type of woman, because she's, again, extremely insecure and in a struggle to maintain power, because she wants to be the dominant one. And because she wants to be the dominant one, the one who's in control over everything, because she's afraid of you having power. She's afraid that if you have power, then she will basically be alone. Well, you can just make sure that she's alone at this point, because if she cannot respect you as a man to have your own freedom and your own agency and basically be able to live very peacefully, I mean, if you can't really enjoy a relationship with a person, then there's no need to be miserable, because life is too short. And again, the way you deal with women who start arguments is to finish by ending the relationship. When they start arguments and look to escalate it into calling up law enforcement or calling up outsiders, that's where you call an end to the relationship and basically walk away from this woman, because life is too short to be caught up in drama with a toxic woman, a toxic, deeply troubled, insecure woman who wants to make your life hell. Life is too short to be caught up in drama with this type of woman who is, again, starting stuff. No, people who like to start arguments and then call the police As related to those arguments, when you're a black man, you have to understand this is a life or death situation, and this woman shows how little regard she has for your life that she will go out here and put you in the line of fire when you're a black man, and she knows that you have a target on your back. I mean, this woman knows that every black man out here in the system of white supremacy has a target on his back, and for her to escalate a situation to the point where she would put a target wide on a guy's back to continue, again, these type of situations. Now, I'm not talking about domestic violence situations where the man is willfully and intentionally putting hands on women. I'm talking about females who will push buttons and look to start something. I mean, when that situation, only thing you can do is delete her phone number, and definitely do not live with this woman. And if you're living with a woman, then go find a place to stay, because any place to stay would be better than being with a kind of woman who would do this type of stuff. No, any place would be better than being miserable in the company of a woman who will have you on edge, because what happens is after this woman does go out here and get a case on you, you're basically living on edge. You're living on edge because you don't know what's going to happen next with this woman, what buttons she can push to start something, and it basically puts you in a state of perpetual anxiety where you're terrified to even do anything, and that satisfies this woman because it sates her feelings as related to the power that she believes that she can have over a man. It sates her feelings of power as related to the power she believes she can have over a man, and it's not a good place for a man to be. No, it's not a good place for a black man to be when you're dealing with this type of female. No, your life is too short to be dealing with this type of woman, and the only action you can take, because I've seen so many black men wind up in these situations where these women start these arguments and then wind up calling the police on the guy, and it just escalates into a tragic situation where either the guy winds up, one, put out of his house, two, winds up arrested and put up on charges, or three, winds up getting shot and killed by the police. I mean, these are three tragic situations that can happen to a black man, and a black man has to understand, if he's dealing with a woman who likes to start arguments and likes to start drama, then you need to go out here and end the show that she's trying to start before she can get the first act in and make that threat to call the police by, again, getting out of that house, getting out of that place. Or if you are dumb enough to invite her to your house, basically you're going to be the one who has to call the police and get her out, or you're just going to have to leave that whole situation. These are your options, again, with this type of woman. And once you get out of that situation, you need to get that woman straight out of your life. Get her straight out of your life, because she's not interested in being a helpmeet to you and will be a hindrance to you as related to you trying to build anything, because anything that she disagrees with, she's going to want to start looking to, again, start arguments to call the police on you. I mean, you may want to go out here and make a power move, and you can't make this move because this woman basically wants to argue about everything. And again, there's no reason to argue with someone, especially if you're not married to that woman. No, if you're not married to that woman and she's looking to, again, keep starting arguments and starting drama, because a lot of chicks, they love to start drama because they feel like they're not getting the attention that they want. Well, make it where they don't get any more attention, because there's good and bad attention. And the attention that she's looking to get by, again, starting arguments, starting fights, bringing in police, or bringing in other dudes to go out here and fight for her, that's the type of stuff where you have to, again, end the relationship with that woman. I know I keep repeating, but I want you to understand, this is not a woman who loves you or respects you, because women who love you or respect you, what they will do if they disagree with you is understand, yeah, I disagree with this man, but I'm not going to start no fights with this man, because I already know how hard it is for this man. I understand how hard it is for this man out here in the system of white supremacy, and I don't need to make it just that much harder by getting in this man's face. I don't need to go out here and make it that much harder by starting some argument over something like a toilet seat or the last pack of ramen noodles, or basically just him being himself I need to not start no arguments with this man, because this man already got it hard enough, and the last thing he needs to do is come home to another adversary looking to be an enemy. That's the last thing a man want to come home to. And if that woman isn't looking to give you any peace at home, then you need to have her peace out, and take that trip to bust downtown with the rest of the biddies. That's where she needs to be sent home. And again, your life is again too short and too precious to waste time with a toxic woman like this. Again, women who start arguments, there's only one thing you can do with them, and that is again finish by ending the relationship on your terms by walking out and never coming back. And if she calls, you tell her, okay, you like to start fights, and I ain't interested in fighting, so you can go out here and have a nice life with a dude who wants to get into that with you, and my time is too precious to waste to fight with a woman who doesn't want to work towards helping me fight against white supremacy or looking to fight to maintain this family or build with this family. My life is too short and too precious to sit here and argue with a woman over minor stuff when we got major things going on. My life is too short to have my peace taken away from me by a woman who doesn't want to give me any sort of joy. And my life is too short to be wasted by dealing with a toxic woman. And that's what you tell that woman as you go out here and charge her to the game, because your time and your life are too precious to waste on somebody who is a crap starter. And the best thing to do with someone who wants to start crap is again to flush the relationship down the drain and go on and have peace by yourself, because God will give you a much better woman. This is another reason why guys deal with these type of women and don't get rid of them from minute one. The time to get rid of this chick is when she starts the first fight. When she starts the first fight and starts to go out here making threats, that's the time to get rid of this chick. And I say, even if you could pick up on the indicators of her starting an argument over nothing, that's the time to get rid of this chick. Because in a world where women are four to every one man, there's no reason to sit there and deal with a disrespectful woman, a woman who doesn't respect you as a man. Because if she respected you, she wouldn't start a fight over nothing. No, women who respect their man, yes, they may have a disagreement, but they're not going to go starting fights for nothing. No, that's what happens when women take men for granted and think that they have no regard for men. And again, if she has no regard for you and has no respect for you, the only thing you can do is take yourself out of that relationship, because there's better options for you than dealing with a toxic woman like this. Now, if you want to learn how to identify predatory women like this, you can pick up my books in the Simp series, such as Stop Simping, Why Men Don't Need Finance to Get Romance, Stop Simping in the Workplace, Stop Simping in Cyberspace, and you can pick up my other men's issues books like The Man Crisis, The Woman Crisis, and Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. You can find all these books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them at other online booksellers like Draft to Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you'd like to see me make more videos talking about men's issues, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Isis, Dark Incubus. The goddess next door gets enthralled in a romantic entanglement with an evil incubus in this all-new Isis series adventure. Get your copy of Isis, Dark Incubus in paperback and e-readers today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.